Hey guys, what's up? It's Mike Thurston here. Today is episode 2 of Nutrition Basics, where we follow on from the first episode where we discussed the importance of knowing and being aware of the types of food that you are eating. So, regardless of whether you're going to be cutting or bulking, you need to be aware of the importance of calories, okay? So, if you're cutting, very simply put, you want to be burning off more calories than you're consuming. If you want to put on weight, add muscle, you need to consume more calories than you're burning off. Okay, it's that simple. Ideally, when you're cutting, you want to be able to do it on as many calories as possible. If you cut too many calories too quickly, you then don't have anything to play with further down the line. So further fat loss becomes much harder. Okay, you can't continue to cut calories, because if you go below a certain point, it then becomes a little bit dangerous. You feel, your standard of living is horrendous and your hormones go to shit, you lose your sex drive, and life just generally sucks. So you want to do it on as many calories as possible. Now, if you are bulking, or I'd probably prefer to say growing, you want to be placing yourself in a surplus, so you want to be consuming more calories than you're burning off. And again, same principles apply when you're cutting. Don't overdo it. You don't want to over-consume calories, because there is a rate at which you can put on new muscle tissue. So a lot of people ask, well, what is the optimal rate of weight gain on a weekly basis if you're going through a bulk phase or growth phase? It's going to vary from individual to individual, but a decent sort of target to be hitting would be 0.25 to 0.5 pounds per week. That figure is a natural figure, okay? So if you are smashing the steroids, obviously you can put on more muscle than a natural lifter would be able to do. And also, you got to look at genetics as well. Some people are genetically better at adding muscle tissue than others. Other people are just hard gainers. They have to fucking bust their balls in order to build muscle tissue. So the same principles apply if you are bulking or growing. You don't want to overdo the number of calories which you're consuming on a day-to-day basis, because if you overdo it, you're just going to gain too much body fat in the process, okay? The key is to gradually, saving up on a weekly basis, just up those calories. The moment you start to plateau and you don't see your weight increasing at all, assuming all external factors are the same, you will want to up your calories ever so slightly. So calorie intake is going to be the most influential factor which you need to prioritize. Then you can kind of look at carb intake versus fat intake, so your macronutrient split, see which one is optimal for you in order to reach your goals. That'll be covered in another video. We can also look at meal timing, meal frequency, and such. Again, we'll cover that in another video. Now, if you are bulking or going through a phase of growing, it's not an excuse to eat shit or junk food. That's what everyone tends to do. I'm not gonna lie, I do that as well. The temptation to do it is just too easy. The problem is, if you do that and you get those extra calories from junk food, a lot of the time is you can't often measure junk food. If you're eating out or getting takeaways, stuff like that, you will massively overdo your calorie intake, or the calorie surplus required in order to assist with that muscle growth. Okay, so you're going to be gaining, or you're going to be consuming way more fat than is needed, way more calories than is needed, and what's going to happen? You're just going to gain too much body fat in the process. So no, it's not an excuse to eat loads of junk or stuff your face until you make yourself ill. Another thing you want to consider if you're bulking is you want to place your body in an environment which is going to allow muscle growth to occur. So you need to take a look at so many of the external factors, such as how much sleep you're getting, how much water you're drinking, how much rest you're getting in between sessions. Okay, recovery is also very important. If you're one of those people that's like, Mike, there's absolutely no way I could consume any more food in my day, I'm already full enough as it is and my appetite is just not there to consume more, then instead of looking to increase the overall volume of the food that you consume, look to choose or consume foods which are more calorie dense. And even when it comes to just consuming more foods that you like to eat, I love cereal, I love granola. Why not just allow yourself to have an extra bowl of granola? I'm sure you could fit that in within your day, okay? So look to see where you could fit in extra calories. If you can't, up the volume, increase the foods which are more calorie dense. Now, when it comes to cutting, it doesn't mean you have to be ridiculously religious with everything you eat and you have to live off broccoli and chicken for the rest of your life. No, you can be flexible with the types of foods that you are consuming, given that you are staying within that calorie target. Okay, so don't overdo the max which you've given for yourself. Okay, further down the line, if you want to try and improve or progress with that fat loss, you may need to be a little bit more strict with the types of foods you eat and stick to a more specific ratio of fats and carbs. But to start off with, you don't have to be religiously strict. If you are seeing progress and your weight is going down and you see yourself getting more defined, there's no reason why you can't maybe introduce a refeed meal here and there. Okay, so maybe once a week. If progress is going really well, maybe twice a week. You can reward yourself with consuming, it doesn't have to be like a junk food pizza, you know. Having a pizza is probably going to slow your progress down, but having a larger meal or something, you know, like a nice gourmet burger with sweet potato fries or steak and chips, something like that, you could introduce that on a weekly basis based on your progress to, you know, bump up your metabolism and to, you know, keep yourself sane, because, you know, I like to eat out, so every now and then it's nice to go out and eat the stuff you want to eat. So if you're cutting, you might be asking, well, what is the optimal rate of weight loss which I should expect to see on a weekly basis? This is going to depend again on so many factors, but in general I'll probably say between 0.5 and 3.5 pounds per week. You know, the more body fat which you have, you're probably going to see a faster rate of fat loss or weight loss when compared to somebody who is much leaner. So somebody who's at 10% body fat, the rate of fat loss and weight loss is going to be much more gradual and slower than compared to someone who is, you know, much fatter. So bear that in mind. And one more thing I'd like to say about cutting is, if you're trying to cut or you want to lose body fat, but your metabolism is so slow just because you're just simply not eating enough in the first place. So say for example, if you're a male, you want to cut, but if you look back the past few weeks of how you've been eating, if you only eat between 1,500 and 2,000 calories per day, that's simply not enough in my book, okay? So by reducing your calories even more from that pretty dangerously low rate, in my opinion, is not going to do any favors. You're going to feel miserable and your body is going to be in a very unfit state of affairs. So for those people who are just simply not eating enough, your goal should be looking to boost your metabolism and look at how you should be eating more, okay? Consuming more of the right foods and getting your body in a routine of eating on a regular basis. That way you can boost your metabolism back up, your body's used to food coming in, and then you can start looking at maybe cutting further along down the line. But realistically, for those individuals who are just simply not eating enough, it's not wise to try and go on a cut and try and cut calories even more. So when it comes to both cutting and bulking, you know, you need to be consistent. You can't realistically do the whole thing from like Monday to Friday and at the weekend just have some time off. It doesn't work like that. So if you're bulking, you can't, you know, put yourself in a surplus from Monday to Friday and then Saturday and Sunday, maybe you go out Friday night, Saturday's a complete write-off, you don't eat anything, Sunday your appetite's not there because you went out and you went crazy on the Friday. It's not consistent and you're not gonna see those results that you want to see. The same goes for cutting. You can't go from Monday to Friday, put yourself in a, you know, a pretty decent deficit, everything's going well, and then when it comes to Saturday and Sunday, it's an absolute feed frenzy where you go way over 5,000 calories on the Saturday and the Sunday. The amount of fat that you put on during that 2-day Saturday, Sunday weekend is just going to completely set you back from where you started, maybe even more so from that Monday. So be consistent. If you're cutting, you're not seeing results, or results are very slow, it's probably not a good idea to have a cheat meal, okay? Just maybe follow what you've been following throughout the week. If you're bulking and you're not seeing the results you want to see, you're going to have to squeeze in some more calories somehow, or look at the external factors such as, am I getting enough sleep? Am I training, or is my training protocol suited to the goals which I have and the nutrition which I have in place? So guys, I've just tried to summarize some of the main aspects of cutting or bulking. There's so much more I want to talk about, but again, that's going to be covered in videos to come. One thing that I have left out in this video is the whole lean bulking thing. That, again, I think that's a video in itself. I'm going to talk about whether it is possible to do it and my thoughts on it overall. So guys, there's going to be way more videos on nutrition to come. Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe.